Blake, let me bring you in. Blake Neff, explain to the audience exactly what are we talking about. When I say it's demonic, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and Tyler goes into the specifics of what's in the indictment of what they did. Why is that so shocking to people? What is the Southern Poverty Law Center hold itself out to be, and what really are they?
Well, I would definitely contest that it's shocking. I don't think any of us who followed it a long time think that it is. But of course, the SPLC, they have presented themselves as a very different organization for a very long time. Honestly, it doesn't hurt to go back all the way to the start. They were founded in 1970 or 71. They have this name that's clearly intended to invoke other more famous civil rights organizations, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC. Oh, here's the SPLC. Sounds very similar. They've founded by Morris Dees, a master of direct mail. So the SPLC's entire business model has been send hysterical letters to left-wing people in their homes and say, hate's on the rise, the Klan is coming back, there's National Socialists on the march, white nationalists on the march, they're going to take over, they're going to do horrible atrocities, please send us your money to track them. And obviously during the Trump years especially, it was just a bonanza for them. There's a ton of hysteric people on the left ready to pony up a ton of money. And what's remarkable is the way that this indictment shows that they were playing both sides of it. I think my favorite part of the indictment, they have a whole list of their secret informants, and one of them is F30, and it describes F30 led the National Socialist Party of America, was a former director of a faction of the Aryan nations, was a member of the Ku Klux Klan, and the SPLC secretly was paying this person at least $70,000 while they had a page on their website in their extremist file. This is one of the people we're fighting against. Please donate money to us so we can fight this person, when they were paying him the entire time. And of course, the SPLC is shady in a million other ways. In 2018 or 2019, Morris Dees had to step down because people brought sexual misconduct claims against him. And they promised, oh, we're going to bring in a big team. We're going to investigate this. We're going to release a big report. Nothing has ever been mentioned about that since then. There's a lot of former SPLC staff who've said this organization is shady. So whatever happens with this indictment, I think the golden opportunity to look at every single thing that goes on in this organization, you will find a lot of things that stink and look very, very bad.
Well, I also think there's a lot of whistleblowers, a lot of people that maybe went down there, think it was going to, or went there and thought it was going to be altruistic on the left, and turned out it's just a group of scumbags. But just for clarity, is the center of gravity in the indictment basically saying, because every night on MSNBC, hate is on the rise, white nationalism is on the rise, white Christian nationalism is on the rise, it's because in their business model, they wanted to make sure they juiced it to make sure it was on the rise, and that's why they're funding guys in the KKK, guys in the American Nazi Party, guys in these white nationalist organizations to basically do that so they've got something to raise money off of?
I think there's a bit of that for sure. There's this bit, I mean, you see a defense, USA Today published an article saying they use this, they were paying informants. That's a well-known tactic of federal law enforcement. Well, the SPLC is not a federal law enforcement organization. They're a nonprofit. In the indictment, we see someone they paid over $1 million, in fact. They apparently paid him to commit a crime. He stole many boxes of documents from a building owned by one of these groups and then supplied them to the SPLC. So it's a mixture of things where we also see them described as telling someone what to post before the Unite the Right rally. It appears this person was making extremist statements with the SPLC's knowledge, perhaps their approval or suggestion. And they were also acting like this quasi law enforcement organization, which so many groups on the left have gotten away with, and the SPLC got away with. Until the first Trump administration, we had this official relationship between the SPLC and the FBI. They would bring them in to train their agents in fighting extremism. Obviously, the real purpose of this is it allows this radical left-wing group to define what an extremist group is, and they're always going to define it. So the right is extreme, the left is not extreme. They've always had massively more hate groups on the right on any of their trackers than on the left. A very sinister organization. in that regard, I think a very fair way to characterize the SPLC is they themselves are America's leading hate group because their entire business model is based on ginning up hatred against other people.
Blake Neff, you follow us every day. Where do people go on social media to track you down, sir?
You can find me on X at Blake S. Neff. And you can watch us, of course, on the Charlie Kirk Show, which we're continuing. We're carrying on his legacy as best we can.